Okay, we are live, baby. But we got to let it breathe just for a second. Hang tight. Hang tight. Hang 10 in East Berlin. I'll give you $100 if anybody knows what reference I just made. If you're a longtime listener of the show, you might remember the Hang 10 in East Berlin, but I doubt it. Even if you remember it, you're not going to be able to place it. Welcome in, everybody. It is the Mile High Huddle podcast, the Father's Day edition. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zack, the offseason is officially in the books. We had our last episode Thursday night. It was the same story, but it had just ended officially that day. How do you feel about the Broncos? The full body of the offseason is over. Sean Payton in phase one of the OTA process, instead of taking 2 weeks to do strength and conditioning, took 5. Mm-hmm. So they were in the building working out, changing their bodies, Zach, for over a month before he even took them out on the practice field. That bodes well, hopefully, for the injury bug.
Yeah, I feel super excited. And for the first time in a decade, there's no trepidation. Even last year, we were all excited about Bo Nix and what he can bring to a Sean Payton offense, but we didn't know. It was still a crapshoot. He had to win the quarterback battle. This year, we have our established franchise quarterback, another year of Sean Payton. The defense was their strength, got even better. So for the first time, I could say, Chad, I legitimately cannot wait for the season to get here. I wish it was training camp tomorrow. I am pumped about the Broncos prospects.
Dude, it's going to be so fun. This season's going to be fun, baby. I mean, just the running back room alone in terms of upgrades. Think about this. J.K. Dobbins last year, even though he missed 4 games, rushed for 905 yards, Zach, and 9 touchdowns. The Broncos' entire running back stable rushed for 7 touchdowns last year. So help is not only on the way, Zach, it has arrived. We just got to wait for the games to get here in the form of Dobbins and RJ Harvey. We're going to talk more about those guys here in a second, but Papa Bear checking in. What's up, dude? Great to see you. You've been absent. You've been in our thoughts, and not only our thoughts, but people in the community been asking about you. Great to see you. Yes, happy Father's Day, brother. He says, good evening, Broncos country, and happy Father's Day. I'm currently in the hospital, getting better. Thanks for the kind thoughts and prayers ahead of time. 13 and 4 plus. Let's go, Bo. MHH for life. Broncos for life. Well, it's we're going to, first of all, you have remained in everybody's thoughts and prayers. I hope you know that, Papa Bear. And we'll take this as a good sign, the getting better aspect. And I'm sure you'll be back on your feet in no time. Of this, I have no doubt.
Yeah, thank you so much, David, for checking in, letting us know how you're doing, and sharing some of your time on this Father's Day. Like Chad said, hope you're doing well. Hope you've been having a great day, and we'll continue to be thinking about you. Just know, if you haven't seen it, the support in the community around here for you has been incredible, nonstop, and it will continue to keep flowing. Keep your chin up, David. We love you.
Yeah, you're important to a lot of people, big dog, and thank you for the update. We have been wondering. So I was, if it wasn't such a busy weekend with a lot of family stuff going on this weekend, I probably would have already emailed you. So I'm glad to hear from you. Thank you, buddy. Hope you have a good rest of your Father's Day. We got the Rock checking in too. What's up, bro? Good evening, Chad and Zach on the Mile High Huddle podcast on Father's Day. Go Bo Broncos. Thank you, buddy. Mile High salute right back at you. It's not an MHH podcast if the mayor of the MHH community, Michael Ronquillo, Zach, is not in the house.
That's right. Thank you so much, Michael. As always, hope you're having a good Sunday, and hope you're excited for the season to start too, as we are.
A few hellos real quick. Unsurprisingly, it's a little bit of a quiet chat tonight, Zach, but String Guy, what's going on, buddy? 6 weeks to go till training camp. Yeah, we'll bridge the gap talking music and guitars and bore the snot out of everybody. Every once in a while, we'll throw it in there. Yeah, for sure. If you ever... You got to give me a reason, though, dude. You got to have a genuine question that somehow riffs into it, or else I can't feasibly. I run the risk of the wrath of Big Earn, Broncos country only. You got to give me a legit segue in. So, yeah, we'll talk more about it. But just a few hellos here. Who else is in the house? We got, of course, the Papa Bear, Mike Thompson. What's up, brother? Great to see you. And I already mentioned him, but Big Earn, Broncos country. What's up, bro? Good to see you. Michael Davis, happy Father's Day. Right back at you. Just played some golf with my son. Home to enjoy some homemade salsa guac in the pod. Dude, awesome, brother. Sounds like a great Father's Day Clayton, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you, my friend. Let's just grab this from Mike. Says, not to be contrary, but are we still pretending that last year's quarterback battle was a legit battle? Zach, what do you make of that?
It was for the most part, Mike, because we thought Bo Nix would be the ideal quarterback for Sean Payton's system, and he was a first round pick, so it was slanted in his favor. But if he face planted and he was so noticeably bad and trending toward maybe being a bust in year one, Sean Payton wouldn't have thrown him out there. He would have found a reason to start Jarrett Stidham or even Zach Wilson in that scenario. So it was geared in Bo Nix's favor, of course. He was the first round pick, handpicked quarterback by Sean Payton. But if he would have looked that bad in training camp, that bad in preseason, I don't think he would have started week one, honestly.
I think the Broncos would have been totally not happy. Don't get me wrong. They wouldn't have been counting their lucky stars, but Sean Payton would have played Jarrett Stidham last year if he had any doubt. Yes. Obviously, you draft a quarterback in the first round because you're going to play him. And philosophies, though, Zach, around the league kind of slightly differ. John Elway, before he became a GM, said, "Yeah, you got to play first round quarterbacks, or else they're not going to learn." Then he became a GM, and it was, keep him on the bench, let him learn all that stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Bo Nix won that job fair and square, I think, Mike. So, yeah. Of course, it was to the Broncos' liking. That's what they hoped and wanted to see. As Zach said, they kind of gave him every opportunity to make that happen. Phil, what's up, dude? Tucson Phil is in the hizzy. Good evening, Chad, Zach, and Deacon Scott. Happy Father's Day to all, and prayers to David. Amen to that, brother. Really appreciate you. Good to see you. Greg Smith, it was nice to hear from you today earlier, buddy. Thank you for that message. Happy Father's Day. Back at you, big dog. We also have James E. the Doc. What's up, dude? Good to see you.
Thank you.
It's been a minute since we've seen you on Super Chat. We're just happy to have you, big dog. Thanks for being with us tonight and helping us keep the lights on with the Super Chat. It says, Happy Father's Day. I love our team. I'm so happy for our team and us fans. I'm really scared for our 53-man roster cutdowns. Who are you most scared to lose on our list? Zach, so I think maybe some guys he's worried are bubble guys, Who are some of those candidates for you?
It's a good question. I think running back or receiver jumps off the page to me because you can't keep them all. We talk about A.T. Perry all the time, Chad. You wrote about him. We talk about Bidet or Blake Watson at running back. One of those guys is probably going to be cut, if not both. Maybe one for the practice squad if they could sneak him through. So I would say one of those guys, and that's a really good question. I'd have to think about that. Fortunately, though, the 53, as we know it on paper, is set. This Broncos roster is pretty much copy and paste.
Yeah, just like you, my priest, so stoked for our year to start. Yeah, and this is one of the better rosters, I mean, it's kind of crazy because this time last year we were stoked on the roster, but there was so much unknown about it. It was like a lot of the Broncos had to get skinny on the cap because of Russ, and they had to lean on the youth of their roster. That was even something Sean Payton talked about last week. And the youth of the roster came through. It redounded to great success, and that's a credit to Payton and the coaching staff, honestly, for not only, of course, the front office making the picks and doing a good job on the front end, but the coaches on the back end getting those guys ready to go. And now the Broncos are in position to really reap the rewards of that experience those young guys got, Zach.
A couple other names, Michael Davis mentioning Singleton if he's a cap casualty, Damari Mathis if he's a roster casualty. Scott mentioned Owuzurike on the defensive line. I took the question a different way really quickly, James. Because the Broncos cannot pay everyone, Sutton, Zach Allen, Benito, I guess I'd be scared potentially to see who they might lose from that set of players. Maybe they don't pay Zach Allen. Maybe they don't pay Benito. Do they prioritize JFM? I would be scared to lose him. He was a good starter. So there's a lot of question marks still left to come that we're going to solve this summer.
Guys, lots more to get to, including we're going to find out what RJ Harvey had to say when he broke his silence on the J.K. Dobbins signing. We're going to get to that here in just a moment. But first, guys, listen up. It's summer. It's one of the best periods on the calendar, and you want to be spending your time out in the sun, in the yard, whatever it is, just not in the house. Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Guys, eating well has never been this easy. You just heat up and enjoy, and you get more time to do the things that you actually want. Get outside, for example, instead of prepping and being stuck cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that actually fit your goals. Choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more.
Guys, Factor absolutely powers your day with satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this summer. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. Get started at factormeals.com/milehigh50off and use code milehigh50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code milehigh50off at factormeals.com/milehigh50off for 50% off plus free shipping.
All right. We're going to get back to the chat. Mike wants to know with the super chat. Thank you, bro. Which new player are you most excited for?
Another good question.
It is. It gives me pause. I would have to say probably RJ Harvey. I mean, it's the low hanging fruit, but it's also the truth for me.
Yeah.
Also, Pat Bryant. Really intrigued to see how he shakes out. But yeah, the offensive guys, no surprise. But also Zadeh Barron, man, like how's he gonna be the boundary guy in base and then kick inside to the slot, Zach, in nickel? I don't know. We'll find out. But what's your answer for Mike?
Yeah, they had no semblance of a running game, so Harvey is the easy answer. But also, they didn't have any tight end production pretty much for years beyond pre-Noah Fant. So Evan Ingram for me for sure. And I really like the addition along the defensive line. We just talked about Zach Gallen and Wuzurike, the Savion Jones pick, how he's going to do as a pass rusher, and even Q Robinson. He's been doing really well in mandatory minicamp and voluntary OTAs. I'd say the entire draft class, Mike, I'm really stoked on.
Oh, yeah. And you look at the free agent side of things, Hufanga, Greenlaw, Ingram, Dobbins. It's going to be fun, man. There's so much freshness to this roster. I think that's one of the reasons people even outside Denver are kind of buzzing about the Broncos is you got a young roster in and of itself that really had to carry a lot of the water last year. And then you added to that strategically with some new faces this year. And overall, it just feels fresh, Zach.
That's what's so amazing. They did a good job drafting the foundational players, the homegrown guys, the rocks, and they added to it. You sprinkle the cherries on top in free agency. They needed a covering linebacker. You got one in Greenlaw, pass-catching tight end, Evan Ingram. You drafted RJ Harvey. They've attacked the offseason so excellently well, and that's why we're so pumped for the 2025 campaign.
All right, real quick before we keep going in the chat, and I'm going to I see Ronk's question about Father's Day moments. We'll get to that. There's some other stuff in there. Also, String Guy has a direct question for Zach. We'll get to that. But real quick, Zach, because I don't want to forget about it, and it's interesting. Harvey breaking his silence on J.K. Dobbins. Now, just a little bit of context to this. Dobbins, of course, officially signed last week. He was out on the grass Wednesday, out on the grass Thursday. But Wednesday, following practice, they actually made him available, and he said nothing but good things about RJ Harvey. Dobbins did. He said that, he sees a special player in him. To paraphrase him, he said that he sees a special player in him. Let me find this in the article. I just wrote it. Long story short, good things, okay? What did RJ Harvey say? This is courtesy of 9 News Mike Kliss. Quote, I'm excited to be in the room with Dobbins. He's a vet. He's been in the league for about, 5-6 years now? I'm excited to get to learn from him and all the other guys as well. I feel like we've got a great room. People sleeping on us right now, but we're going to wake everybody up this year, Zach. Close quote. So you get that not only some feedback on Dobbins, Zach, but a bit of a bold prediction as well.
We got to get RJ a Let Him Hate t-shirt because he's speaking our language around here. And remember what Sean Payton talked about, George Payton as well, that the players they look for in the draft, the prospects, they wanted mature players. They wanted captains. They wanted 4-year starters. And you see why. Someone like RJ Harvey could have come in and said, oh, it's my spot. He's going to have to out-battle me. I'm not giving it up. I'm the whatever. And he came in very humble. I mean, he is the future at the position, not J.K. Dobbins. He knows that, but he's still being a team player. And look, when they signed Dobbins, what he said, Chad, he's going to help me, meaning RJ. I'm going to help him, and we're going to do great things together.
That's right. We also learned from RJ that he has worked hard to get his pass protection up to par. And according to the coaches, let's see, he said, quote, "I feel like throughout camp, I've really made an improvement on my pass protection. The coaches will tell you that. I just want to keep working, keep getting better at it because I want to be an all-around back. I want to play on first, second, third, and fourth down." Yeah, it's getting better. So that's good news. That's good news. We have the Duchess
Thank you,
checking
Mickey.
in
Thank you.
on this Father's Day edition of the MHH pod. Michaela, we love you, your family, you're near and dear. You know this. Thank you, though, for the super chat tonight, my friend. She says, "I have a feeling that Troy Franklin, that is, Zach, will break out. Heard great things from camp." And yes, we did hear many good things about Troy Franklin. Also, Zach, for what it's worth, according to Sean Payton, he put on 5 pounds. So he's a little thicker. And the early returns on his year 2, very positive.
It was he always passed the eye test. It wasn't for a lack of talent with Troy Franklin. First of all, Michaela, as always, thank you so much. Hope you're having a great Sunday. But it was always just the mental side of it, the hands, the concentration, the discipline. If he can just harness that, get that under control, you saw in the Buffalo game what he can do. He's a game breaker. He's a game changer. Bo Nix has chemistry with him. And Sean Payton, like Chad said, is forecasting an ascension for Troy Franklin in year 2. So another guy to watch in that receiving core.
It's still hard to believe, but it's true all the same, that Bo Nix's singular passing touchdown in the playoffs, which was caught by Troy Franklin, that awesome deep shot early in the game, that was the first ever rookie quarterback to a rookie wide receiver touchdown in NFL playoff history. Isn't that wild? Crazy. But it's a harbinger. I take it, Zach, as a very positive omen of what the future holds for these 2 former college teammates as well.
It's year 1 of the operation of the Sean Payton, Bo Nix era, and they got to the playoffs, and they came out like gangbusters in that first quarter with that touchdown like we talked about. It's like you said, a little glimpse of what it could be going forward.
No doubt, but Vele was absent from mandatory minicamp, but Pat Bryant making waves, Marvin Mims, not a lot was said about like, ooh, look at what he's doing, but just all the positivity and confidence that the team really feels like they unlocked and turned a corner with Mims last year. And that's the new status quo, is Mims being a force to be reckoned with on offense. So we're looking forward to that. Michaela, love you so much. Thank you for the super chat. We also have, I want to grab this from the Ronk. RJ Harvey is the most exciting new player in the draft, and Evan Ingram is the most exciting signing for the Broncos. Yeah, dude, it's going to be fun to see those guys. I mean, think about it. The tight end group, arguably the worst in the NFL last year. Even with Greg Dulcich, before the team officially pulled the plug and gave up on him. The running back room, maybe it's a stretch to say it was the worst in the NFL, Zach, but it was certainly lackluster.
Yeah.
Man, it's going to look very different this year.
It's a great way to put that, Ronk, and I wholeheartedly agree. Well, let's just hope, because there's nothing behind Evan Ingram. If something were to happen, knock wood, they'd be going right back to the 2024 iteration. So big signing for Denver. Happy they made it.
Michael Davis jumping in with a super. Thank you, bro. Saying, Priests, welcome to the Ring of Fame, Demaryius Thomas. Who's next and overdue? My next up is Gary Kubiak. 7 Super Bowls, won 3 as a coach. 257, 174 and 1 record, 27-year career. Coob equals Ring of Fame. I'm not, obviously that's there's a few caveats to those stats you threw up. I got to think about this. 83. So he was part of the 3 80 Super Bowls, the back-to-backers. All right. So that's 5 and Super Bowl 50. So 6, because he wasn't around for Super Bowl 48. He was still with the Texans that year. But your point is, let's forget about the details here, Zach. Kubiak as a Ring of Fame candidate, he spent plenty of time with the team as a coach. I mean, how are you inducting him? Are you inducting him as a coach or a player? Of course, not as a player. He was a backup his whole career. It's got to be as a coach. 2 years as a head coach only. And then how many years was that before he got the Texans job? I mean, close to a decade. I would say he qualifies. And I mean, just the fact that he brought home a ring it should be enough.
And not to mention, he's close to and was part of the Elway era. And we all know how, the lore surrounds John Elway in Broncos country. So yeah, Michael, I would agree with this. I think it'd be easier to make up a list of the candidates that could get in the ring and go from there. But Kubiak is probably at the top of that.
Okay, so you've got guys like Goose Gonsolin, Rich Jackson, Floyd Little, of course, R.I.P. We're talking current members of the Ring of Fame. Lionel Taylor, let's see, former owner Gerald H. Phipps, Charlie Johnson, Paul Smith, let me see, Frank Tripucka, R.I.P., Billy Thompson, Craig Morton, Haven Moses. I'm not going to go through them all, but who's missing? I think of some of these. I'm thinking back to the Super Bowl 50 era and more like the Manning era. You know, Von Miller will one day be in the Ring of Fame. That day will come, but he's still playing, so that's still a ways out. What about Aqib Talib, Zach? He was here for 4 years. And that's one of the qualifiers is for at least 4 years with the club. I think he made the Pro Bowl each of those years. He was a Bronco, maybe missed one. I'll double check it, but what say you?
I think you're on the right path. I would prefer my ring guys be drafted or developed by the team. So Chris Harris Jr. to me would be another candidate if they want to go that route in the no-fly zone.
Yeah, so 2014 through 17, let's see, 5-time Pro Bowl. So each year, every year he was a Bronco, he made the Pro Bowl. And one of those years, he made first-team All-Pro. So that's Talib. Now, Chris Harris Jr., I'm right there with you, bro, especially on the logic of, if not drafted, developed by the team. And as a 4-time Pro Bowler, let's see, 2-time second-team All-Pro, Zach, and a 1-time first-team. I mean, that's a lot of accolades, dude, for a undrafted guy, plus Super Bowl 50 champ. Yeah, it's probably about time. Plus he played, how long was he in Denver? So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 9 years.
Longevity.
He's got that. Exactly. He's got that longevity. Yeah, I'd put him up there as a bona fide deserving candidate, Zach.
Let's get one of those guys in, whether it's Coobs, Chris Harris Jr., or Aqib Talib. Let's make it happen.
Arceus? What do you think, Zach? Arceus? Could PS2? What?
I know. I said we appreciate it regardless.
Yes, thank you, buddy. Newer name. Welcome to the manger. Really appreciate you. Broncos. Hold on. Could Pat Surtain II retain the Defensive Player of the Year award this year? Happy Father's Day. God bless you and all of Broncos country. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate you. Means a lot, man. Seriously. That's $9.99 that you worked hard to earn, and we take it as a great blessing and a privilege that you throw that down to support us. So thank you, buddy. What do you think his odds are? I mean, I don't even know what the history books. I can look it up, but the odds of repeating as Depoy, Zach, they're pretty slim. But what do you say? And I'm not saying that because of Pat Surtain, but just because the voting doesn't like it. You know, they try it, even if it's deserving, they're going to find reasons not to. But what's your answer?
I was chuckling at Scott's pronunciation guide for his username. I don't know. Like Chad said, I don't know how prevalent that is, if it ever really even occurred. We're happy that PS2 won it. And regardless of what hardware he wins, he's going to be the best cornerback in the NFL. Quick rant, I keep seeing these national outlets, Chad, rate Sauce Gardner over PS2, and I don't understand why. Based on film from 2-3 years ago, if you look at the metrics, you look at the data, you look at the numbers, the accolades, the fan voting, peer voting, PS2 is the best corner in the NFL. Rant over.
So for what it's worth, as much as it's true that it's rare, if you go and look through NFL history, that a player wins it back-to-back years, it's happened a couple times in the last, let's just say the 21st century. So Aaron Donald won it 3 times, Zach. 2 of those times were back-to-back, 17 and 18. J.J. Watt won it 3 times. 2 of those were back-to-back, 2014, 2015. So for what it's worth, it can and has been done. So let's not rule it out as a possibility. But Lawrence Taylor also did it back in the day, for what it's worth. But it would take another I think for him to do it again, not only would you need the shutdown metrics that to be sustained, which I think is a pretty safe bet. He's PS2, but let's get more of that ball production, more takeaways, and more highlight reel stuff to stay in the zeitgeist and front of brain of the NFL media sphere and the writers. And yeah, I could see it happen, but I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't bet on it. All pro, Pro Bowl, bet on that. But Depoy, that's going to be tough, dude. Because also, it's not easy for cornerbacks either, Zach, to win it. Like in the 21st century, I'm just looking here, cornerback, Charles Woodson, he's more of a Nichols. I don't know, but 2009, you had Stephon Gilmore in 19, and then Surtain. It's pretty rare that a corner wins it.
I was gonna say Scott sent us the odds for Depoy 2025, and it's all rush players: Aiden Hutchinson, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, T.J. Watt. So the fact that PS2 won it all is quite the accomplishment, and we all know, again, like we've been talking about, the Broncos are still going to have the best corner on the planet playing for them this fall.
Casey Nickel, what's up, dude? Great to see you. Love your new profile pic, Bo Nix spiking it. I think that was the Baltimore game when he caught the touchdown pass, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, dude, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you. Happy Father's Day, boys. He says, see you at the meet and greet this year. What? That's going to be sick, dude. He says, it's my wife and I's 8-year anniversary as well. Also, No Fly Zone 2.0 this year. Well, first, so is it right now, the 8-year anniversary, or you're saying in the fall it's going to be 8-year? Either way, congrats on that, dude. That's awesome achievement. Good for you, and props. And it's going to be great to meet you in the flesh, dude. That's exciting, man. Can't wait.
Yeah, congrats, Casey. Thank you for letting us know. We look forward to seeing you out there in October. Should be a good game.
Also, when are we going to get you on the show for a superstar segment? Let me know. Thursdays. Think of Thursdays, and shoot me an email or DM me, and we will make it happen, my brother. Great to see you. Thank you, Casey. I'm going to grab this. Wrong. Chad, what's your favorite Father's Day moment? Man, I don't really have, Zach, as a father, like a specific memory. Like my wife does a great job of making sure that I feel the love. Let me just put it that way, from the family on Father's Day. But I think of like my dad and Father's Day and stuff. And, you know, most of the time, Father's Day, at least as an adult, it involves like getting all the kids in the car, traveling, going and spending time with the family, like with my pops and my Nana and great, you know, the extended family. So it's a lot of hustle and bustle. So instead of trying to share a Father's Day moment, I'll just share with you a father moment. And that's with my dad. And it was fun. Zach, you met him. I brought Mark, my pops, out to one of the meet and greets a few years ago. And that was a special moment because, you know, he's always kind of like slightly boomerish. Like, what is it you do? Like, how is it what the heck do you do? How do you, once the games are over, like, who are these people on your podcast? All this stuff. And then Zach brought him to the meet and greet, and he's like, now he got it. And it was fun experience. So there's a memory for you, Ron.
Yeah, your dad's a living legend. We all love him around here. And it's mine is I lost my dad about a decade ago. So I kind of, on these days, I go through the memories, and I'm very grateful for the memories that I did have with him in my limited time. And I was about 25, 26 when I lost him. So I got a message for you guys. If you haven't picked up a phone, if you still have your dad, reach out to him, tell him you love him, because I promise you there's going to be one day where you wish you can, that you can't anymore.
You guys want to hear something crazy? So Zach has lost his father, as he mentioned. I lost my mother. We lost those parents. They were one day removed. We didn't know each other yet. We'd probably meet, what was it, maybe 2 years later is about when we crossed paths. We found out in retrospect that our parents passed, my mom, his father, within 1 day of each other, same month, same year. Isn't that wild?
Crazy.
So anyway, I agree, Zach. Keep not just your father, but those that you're close with, your family. Call your grandma, call your mom if you haven't talked to her for a minute. Check on your brother. These kind of things, keep them close. But yes, today's about fathers. So if you haven't talked to your old man, I mean, you don't need us to lecture you on that, but this is just a good reminder. You know, you want to take care of that.
Absolutely. I want to bring the vibe down. So happy Father's Day to everyone out there. We appreciate you tuning in with us tonight.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm trying to find oh, good for you, Ron. My dad was over here today for Father's Day. That's cool, man. I'm glad you got to see your pops on the day of days for dads. That's really cool. I'm trying to find the direct question. I didn't star it, dang it. But let me find the string guy real quick. He had a direct question for Zach. Where the Sam Hill did it go? I caught my son saying that the other day, my little 4-year-old. Where the Sam Hill is it, Dad? And that could be misconstrued. You know, people might think he's saying HE double hockey sticks, though he's not. All right, I'll find it. I'll find it in a minute. I don't know.
I think I knew what it was. He's asking me, is Pat Bryant going to...
Yeah, hit it. What's the gist?
I think it was Pat Bryant. Can he overtake Vele for the wide receiver 2 opposite Cortland? Yeah, absolutely, string guy. Because the longer that Vele, we don't know what's going on with him, Chad. Is he injured? Was it a personal matter? Was it an event? Sean Payton got testy. I wrote about it. We've been covering that situation. Mandatory minicamp, he was not there, nowhere to be found. Sean Payton says that Vele will be out there for training camp, but he's going to be behind the 8 ball because he has other receivers pushing him now, and he's not the new guy pushing others. So if Pat Bryant continues to ascend, and he did, I know it was in shorts and T-shirts, I know it was running routes against air, but you could see he's silky smooth in his footwork. You could see the jump ball tendencies. You could see the sure hands. There is absolutely a path. It might not be week 1 where he does overtake Vele to be the wide receiver 2. Yes.
So check this out, just for posterity here. This is our beloved coach jumping down. I don't even know who it was. We have our theories. We're not going to surmise it here publicly, but this is go away. This is
what that's it means.
Yeah, here we go. This was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
With Devon Vele, is he the only thing that's going to keep him out? Like
no. He's going to be full go. Start a training camp. Everything's good. We should be. That's it. That's it. Did you hear me? Okay. That's it means. That means it's not.
Just so ornery, dude. That's it. It's like on Austin Powers, Dr. Evil. Zip.
Yes.
That's what it reminded me of. Anywho, where are we at? We're at 32 minutes. We're doing okay on time, but guys, we're probably going to keep it pretty tight tonight because in my case, I do have a little something left to do with the family for dinner and stuff. So we're going to be getting to that here on my end in a little bit, but let's see what Scott's saying here. Audric Estime averaged 3.4 yards on 35 carries over the last 4 weeks of the season and was a healthy scratch for that playoff game. What do you make of that, Zach? Why was it? Because ostensibly you could have used him in that game. It got out of hand by the time you got to like even a possession into the third quarter, but his efficiency did decline down the stretch.
Right.
And yet, what are we hearing from Sean Payton all the way up until a week ago? How great the room is. He's going to get his opportunities this year. Something didn't pass the sniff test, and they ended up going, we're missing something. Oh, hey, JK, come on in, Mr. Dobbins. What gives?
Yeah, I don't know, because who's up and who's down for a game depends on the matchup and what they plan to do. I don't remember what running backs were active for that game, but I would assume they were pass catchers, probably McLaughlin, and they plan to do a lot of passing, as we saw in that first quarter. So maybe they didn't think that Estime was needed to be a plotter or a 3-yard carry kind of guy, a clock burner, because they might have thought they would get into a shootout with Buffalo. I don't know, but obviously what Sean Payton says and what Sean Payton does, Chad, are two different things.
Todd Ostendorf, my wife let me cook steak this Father's Day. LOL. To her credit, she did make the side dishes. That's awesome, dude. That's what I'm going to be doing here in about half an hour's time is some steaks. Todd also says, Zach, I fully expect RJ Harvey to take the job in the preseason. No reason to believe he can't beat out Dobbins. It'll be a 1-2 punch, but I think by the time you get to the regular season, Harvey, when you count carries and receptions, I mean, he's going to be a 15 to 20 touch per game guy, in my opinion, even with Dobbins on the roster.
I don't think there's anyone to really beat out because both running backs are kind of co-starters in a Sean Payton offense. He loves the committee approach. Dobbins is going to get a lot of carries. RJ Harvey's going to see a lot of touches, and they're going to work, as Dobbins said, in harmony as a 1-2 punch.
But here's the thing, Todd. He says, I know Sean's penchant for starting vets, but I'm willing to bet on RJ. I throw that out the window, dude, because think about last year, bro. Rookie starter at quarterback the whole year. You had rookies across the offense. I mean, aside from the offensive line, You had Devon Vele start games. You had Troy Franklin starting games. Sean Payton, I don't think it's that he has a fear or any kind of philosophical, principle that precludes him from playing rookies. It's just that, are you comfortable in that individual? I think it's a case-by-case basis. And in RJ's case, he was brought in to play some ball. 4-year player. He's ready to go. You don't want to waste any time. Get him in there. Let him do his thing.
If Dobbins is the first player on the field, if he's like literally named the starter for week 1, that's because Sean probably trusts him a little more as a pass protector, just as an overall player. He has the body of work. But when RJ does get comfortable and Sean Payton can take the training wheels off, then it's his job to lose going forward.
Eric Holt, and by the way, this is a great point from Mr. Producer, who starts at running back, maybe the most meaningless starter in football. Because especially for Sean Payton at running back, right? Like, it doesn't matter who starts. Eric Holt, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. Sanders, that is Drew Sanders versus Alex Singleton. Who you got and your thoughts? Singleton, because he's on his last year. He is a tackling beast. He's a smart, savvy vet. Health willing, and so far the health thing, Zach has been willing. He's been cleared. He's out there doing his thing. It's going to be Singleton, but the Broncos say all the right things about Drew Sanders. But every time I find myself saying that, Zach, I'm reminded of even things I've told people on this podcast, things you'll hear Scott say. It's not what they say. Coaches follow what they do.
Yeah, I just wrote about Sean Payton's comments on the inside linebackers, the backup Surtain and Drew Sanders. And with Sanders, he said the experience he's gotten working one position, not being outside and inside, just working inside, has been a big help for him. So Singleton's going to be the starter. I'm rocking with him, but Sanders as a backup and maybe the long-term answer next to Greenlaw, that's a situation worth monitoring. Phil,
this is going to be fun. He says, thinking about history or the Ring of Fame, we must remember Bob Howsam, original owner of the Broncos, Gerald Phipps, 20 years, and first playoff game in history for the Broncos. Edgar Kaiser, only 3 years, but he traded for John Elway, true. Beloved Pat Bolin, most beloved past owner, and luck for us, the Walter Penner Group. Now we're a great franchise with the Hall of Fame culture. Yeah, that's true about Kaiser. He at least did one really good thing, and that was, getting Elway. But at the same time, Baltimore Colts, man, like, why did you make that pick? John Elway told you he wasn't going to play. He was going to force your hand. That still goes down in history as a head scratcher. But yes, Zach, the point he's trying to make, we have a great franchise with Hall of Fame culture, no doubt. And it's been good to see over the last decade, Zach, the Hall of Fame actually beginning to really recognize Broncos' contributions.
The fact that there was a logjam of Broncos greats that were waiting to get in says it all. They've been a storied franchise for many, many years. Even, pre the 10 years of ineptitude, they were a storied franchise, and they had a lot of good players come through. So that's why we talk about them so highly around here.
Indeed, we have the Lady D checking in from the top rope.
Oh, Deanna.
As is so often the case, the ladies of MHH leading the way. Michaela and Deanna here. We love you. Thank you so much. Deanna says, evening, Chad, Zach, and Scott. Happy Father's Day to every dad. Thank you. Super excited for the season to start. At String Guy, condolences. Prayers for you and your family. Hopefully they pay Alan and Benito. I'm not sure what she's talking about with String Guy. We'll have to look at that. But hopefully, Zach, the Broncos pay Alan and Benito. Hashtag MHH for life. Is it going to be Alan first, do you think?
I would think so. I'd hope they pay their 2 top draft picks too, Chad. That would be nice to get.
Still unsigned.
Barron and Harvey under contract, but they will. That's a formality. It's less sure what they're going to do with Allen and Benito, but yeah, I think we're in agreement around here, Deanna. We're paying Zach Allen first, and then we'll see with Benito.
The only thing I would tell you, don't worry about it, but Allen is almost a guarantee. He'll get extended. Benito, I'm sure the Broncos want to get something done. What I'm not certain of is the timetable for which they hope to get it done. Like, do they want to see how he does? If I were in that front office, even though I know that by the day, the longer I wait, the more the values of his contract and what the market's going to rise. To me, that's small potatoes in the scope of paying some guy who had a great year and then he ends up reverting back to pre-2024 form. And then I'm going, duh. And it's the kind of thing that can get you fired as a GM if you do stuff like that. So if I'm in that front office, I've said this before on the pod, but I'm getting everything worked out with the players rep. I'm getting kind of the bones of a deal in place. And I'm saying, hey, Nick, let me get out there and see you doing it early in the season, and we'll make this happen. Just like Garrett Bowles and Jonathan Cooper last season or in recent years being in-season extensions. That's what I expect to happen with Benito.
And the Broncos were smart to insulate themselves from a potential, not a step forward from Nick Benito, because you had Jonah Ellis looking good, because you had Dondre Tillman looking good, and now you drafted Q Robinson, who looks good in offseason practices. I think you're right. I think Benito would be an in-season extension. They pay Zach Allen first, Deanna. Thank you so much, as always.
By the way, just real fast, according to Ronk, it was Parker Gabriel of the Denver Post who was getting the zip it from Sean. So for what it's worth. Okay, so let me see here real quick. I think this is it. String guy. Losing my mother was hard, but losing my father made me lose the feeling of having safety in my life and the realization that now I was the safety net for my wife and kids. It's a sobering feeling. I know what you mean, dude. I'm still fortunate enough to have my old man around, but losing my mom and stuff, it's tough, buddy. So our thoughts are with you. It's really tough. And as he says here, it happened a few years ago, so I'm fine. I just wanted to share the feeling I had after losing my father. He had always been there, and suddenly he was gone. Yeah. That's the thing that, it's hard for us as human beings to wrap our brains around the finality of death. It's hard to comprehend and understand, let alone cope with that.
For me, not to get too personal, but it was the resignation of it all. It was the finality. It was knowing that it's not a bad dream you can wake up from. It's not some thought that you can change. It's the permanent. It's your life now, and you have to cope with that. So I feel you, String Guy.
Yeah, I remember when my mom passed. I was a mama's boy, dude. Trust. I was raised by my mom, and so it was especially tough on me. But I remember those moments. Anyone who's lost someone close to you, what I'm about to say, you'll probably resonate with. But I can remember the bummer. You kind of have to relive the reality of it every day because you fall asleep and then you go to forgetful land. And then you wake up and then for a few moments, maybe your brain doesn't bring it back and you're going, ignorance is bliss. It doesn't even hit you. And then it hits you and it's like that bummer. And you have to kind of relive that every day for a while. And I think for everybody, Zach, it goes away on a different timetable or at least diminishes, but that was brutal.
Yeah, it really is. And the grieving process, it's not a straight line. If there's 5 steps, you might go from 1 to 5 to 2 to 4. It's not from 1 to 5, and everyone has their own way. Time does help. It does make it better, but there's still that piece of you that's never going to be the same again.
James says, Zach, Chad, bless you. My dad got to celebrate 2 Super Bowl wins with me after suffering 4 losses. He passed in 2000, but those back-to-back wins are priceless. Awesome, bro. Glad to hear it. That's cool memories. Thank you for sharing on this day. Casey says, my aunt just passed away the other day, and she was the reason I became a Broncos fan. R.I.P. Aunt Lori. Amen to that, dude. R.I.P. Aunt Lori. So sorry to hear that, bro. That is tough, my friend. That is tough. Okay, guys, we got a few messages for you. Then we're going to check the chat one last time. Then we're going to dip, so don't leave quite yet.
On that note, this was a tremendous episode of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH Pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle. Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out MHHmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at Mile_High_Huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, very important that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
Zach, I just want to grab this from Zach Diekman, that this is from earlier in the show, but thank you for being with us on Facebook, my brother. It says, we forget Audric Estime and Jaleel McLaughlin. If they had more run time, more touches, they could easily have, they could have had more possessions, more yards per carry than Williams. I feel like we knew Williams was done, so we just had to let him finish up his contract so we didn't get hurt, so we could use them this year with JK and Harvey. They'll be used. Both those guys are factoring in for what it's worth. I mean, I think it would be a major upset if any event befell Audric Estime and he lost or it was cut, and the same for McLaughlin. Both are going to be part of the equation, but now they're not, they're not going to be tip of the spear. They're reserve guys, change of pace guys. It's going to be Harvey and Dobbins, Zach.
It's going to be a trickle-down effect to the 4 running backs, but they're going to see some of that trickle. It's not just going to be nothing. They're not going to roll with Harvey and Dobbins and call it a day. And especially with Sean Payton, with how much he loves the committee, the timeshares, the rotating the running backs, you need multiple in today's NFL. So Estime will have a role. McLaughlin certainly will, considering how much Sean Payton trusts him. But the 2 top dogs in Denver now are RJ Harvey and JK Dobbins.
Ronk, thank you, my brother, for the support and contributing to the conversation. He says, my dad and my mom both live here in Tucson, so call your dad, say you love him. Amen to that. Mike Thompson just sharing a few Father's Day thoughts here. I have 3 littles. They fill my time and heart. Being a father has been the greatest gift in my life. Happy Father's Day, all. Very sweet, man. I appreciate you sharing that, and I agree. All right, guys, a mile high salute. Special shout out to the great Super Chat superstars and supporters helping us keep the lights on tonight, like the Duchess, Michaela Parker, like the Lady D, Deanna Hendry. Thoughts and prayers continuing for the Papa Bear, David McElrath, who checked in tonight from the hospital, though he is getting better. The Ronk, Phil McLaughlin, Doc JC in the house. James, great to hear from you, buddy. Mike Thompson, Michael Davis, Arceus. I'm going to say Arceus, dude.
Yep.
Arceus. Nah, Arc. I don't know. I'm confounded. Casey Nickel, Eric Holt. Thank you, guys. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. I'm pretty sure I'm not. Much love and respect. We will be back, Zach and I, tomorrow night. So we'll see what Monday shakes out. I mean, we're really now entering week 1 of the NFL desert, So there's not going to be a lot by way of news, but we'll see what comes up and what kind of topics we can dive into tomorrow night. It'll be fun. See you then.
As always, have a great rest of your Father's Day. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.